This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
It is the After Party live on a Travel Tuesday, and today we are headed to Norway. So it's going to be really fun. I'm really looking forward to this virtual trip so we can collectively take a breath and figure everything out. My apologies for the late start today. You know, this show starts when the other one ends, and so that's just the way life rolls sometimes around the After Party Live. I do want to thank some people who have made recent contributions to this show via PayPal. That would be Wes. I saw your contribution come through today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Kathleen, Heather, Robin, all contributed via PayPal in the last 24 hours. The PayPal description, or the PayPal link, is in the description of the show description, and in the About tab here on YouTube as well. I have to say that so often you'd think I wouldn't stomp all over it, but I do all the time. Thank you for the contributions and for keeping this show going. Much appreciated. Of course, the super chat and super stickers open on YouTube as well. And now that we have that business out of the way, let's jump into some of these stories so we make sure to have time to get to them all. Oh, one of the stories that I found, actually, this is thanks to Calvin Wong, is about fossilized vomit. I know, way to start the show, right? Thanks, Calvin Wong. It's 66 million year old vomit that somehow became a fossil, and it was discovered in Denmark at Stevens Klint, which is a coastal region of the Baltic Sea. Who would have thought that their puke would have been fossilized? But this is what happened. And scientists say that it does show the dynamic of ancient predator-prey practices in this area. So it's helpful, right? This 66 million year old vomit fossil was found by a fossil hunter. His name is Peter Benecke. And they apparently, he says, this fossil, the fossils in general, are rare treasures of Denmark, and that when you find them, they have to be evaluated by the National Denmark Committee of the National Natural History Museum of Denmark before they can receive any type of designation. He makes this discovery after he noticed a strange collection of sea lily fragments embedded in chalk, and this was in November. So he took it in, and after they cleaned it up and analyzed it, it was determined that the clump contained the remains from at least 2 species of sea lilies. Regurgitolites is what, there's a name for this, regurgitolites, fossilized vomit, regurgitolites. They're rare, according to scientists, but invaluable to studying these ancient ecosystems. They reveal what predators ate, how food chains functioned millions of years ago. So this one, probably from a fish, a Cretaceous era predator, most likely ate these sea lilies and then later spat out the indigestible parts. And they call it, this fossilized vomit, a very unusual find, because sea lilies aren't a particularly nutritious diet. And so they think it's interesting. It's a relic, they say, of prehistoric dining habits during a special exhibition at the Geo Museum Facts. It will be on display, so you can go check out the incredibly old puke. Thanks, Calvin Wong, for that story. Did you see these pictures? This is crazy. I'll take away the vomit and I'll give you, look at the rockets. Yeah. Check it out. This is what happens when Starlink launches another set of satellites. Pretty incredible. Here's some more photos of this. People saw it all over the place and they thought, this looks weird. Not necessarily like Starlink rocket weird, like perhaps UFO weird. It was a phenomenon that caught a lot of attention, you could say. but they think it's connected to a rocket launch from Space Force Base in California. Happened at about 6 a.m. on Friday morning. And it was this, as you can see here, with this ball of multicolored light with a massive tail that flared over the skies of Northern California. And people caught all kinds of pictures of this. The thinking is that it was a launch from Vandenberg Space Force Base of a SpaceX launch. But boy, it was seen all over the place. This bright blue color is known as the Twilight Phenomenon when a rocket launch happens 15 minutes to a half hour after sunset or 15 minutes to a half hour before sunrise. When the rocket reaches the upper atmosphere, the exhaust particles condense, freeze, and expand, allowing low-angle sunlight to reflect off the particles. According to the SpaceX website, they've conducted 426 Falcon 9 missions with 382 landings and 355 reflights. But yeah, people were thinking, wow, what is that? It seems so low, doesn't it? Pretty incredible pictures. And I could see why people were not necessarily thinking SpaceX. Because when I've looked up and seen the satellite launches, it's really been a kind of a line of twinkling lights in the sky. It's kind of obvious what it is, but this isn't so obvious, I don't think. Did anyone see it in person? I'm going to the chat to see what you guys have to say. There it is. Well, yeah, PW Rock says if Musk is involved, it's probably weird. Ms. Organic says pretty, even if there's too much SpaceX junk up there already. Yeah, there is too much SpaceX junk. Absolutely. Mm. Um, you guys are funny. Talking about band names, two people think of a word in their head and then say it no matter what the other person said. It actually works to come up with band names. That's awesome. Rev P says people were freaking out on Nextdoor. Yeah, must be aliens. No, it's just our resident alien Musk. That's all we got there. But the pictures are really cool anyway. So, okay, let's move forward because I have more for you in the name of this Wig Lady. What happened? She thought she could cheat and get away with it. Didn't quite work out very well for her. This is a fraud suspect from the UK. She's a 61-year-old lady, and she used wigs and disguises to take the citizenship test in the UK for other people. She used fake documents and an array of wigs. She was accused of using all of these things in a scheme, and they were all seized at an address in North London where she was also arrested. This lady, according to officials in the UK, posed at least 14 times as other people to help them pass UK citizenship tests. The test is called the Life in the UK test. You have to take it to become a citizen there. And this 61-year-old lady was, according to officials, helping men and women gain an unfair advantage. She is accused of wearing various wigs and disguises to pass herself off as the true applicants in an attempt to dishonestly obtain them leave to remain in the United States. I mean, in the UK. My apologies. They say anyone seeking to stay in the country indefinitely or to naturalize as a British citizen does have to take this test. So cheating on it doesn't really look good for your citizenship prospects, does it? This woman, who was not named, was arrested at an address in North London. Several false documents, fake wigs, all apparently used in the scheme, were found along with her. It's alleged that between June of 2022 and August of 2023, at least, she went multiple times to the UK test centers, disguising herself and doctoring ID documents to evade detection. Fraudsters completing the test for others could lead to people wrongly being granted the right to remain in the country without the proper due diligence. So, busted. Immigration enforcement and criminal and financial investigation inspectors say they had to put a stop to this. This individual is believed to have orchestrated a premeditated plan to avoid detection, meticulously selecting disguises and test center locations across the country to evade authorities. As with many criminals, they say, who commit this type of crime, we believe her motive was financial gain. The Life in the UK test has 24 questions, and it's aimed at proving that you have sufficient knowledge of British values, history, and society. 24 questions. Why not just study for the test? Why do you have to hire the lady to go in and take the test for you? I'm telling you, you know, first thing they do is say, you tried to cheat, and you are not the kind of person we want here. Busted. Did you hear that there is a shortage of Adderall? For people that take it, pretty big deal. As a matter of fact, yeah. This Adderall shortage is sparking a scramble for alternative medicines for people that have been diagnosed with ADHD. Doctors are switching kids with ADHD to different stimulant type medications. The prescriptions for kids and teens dropped when the FDA announced a shortage of this drug in 2022. And according to a new study published Monday in the journal Pediatrics, prescriptions for other kinds of stimulant drugs used in ADHD treatment increased. So the researchers say their findings suggest the Adderall shortage did not cause many children to stop stimulant therapy altogether, but it did force some to switch to alternative stimulants. This according to researchers with the University of Michigan. And it's too soon, they say, to tell whether these alternative stimulants wound up being a good or a bad thing for kids with ADHD. That it would have been more concerning, they think, if the changes resulted in worsened ADHD control. So now they're trying to evaluate whether the changes led to adverse outcomes. More than 11% of kids will be diagnosed with ADHD at some point during their lives, and prescription stimulants are considered a first-line treatment when drugs are required, and they aren't always. But stimulants are the most widely used ADHD medication according to the US CDC. And for kids that do have ADHD, as many as 80% of them say they have fewer symptoms when they take these meds. So, yeah. What happened to all the Adderall? Where did it go? Did you see the story about the baby born in the Krispy Kreme place? Kind of a cute story, I have to say. This came from the Bay Area, and I have it here to present to you from Cron 4. This baby, I think it's from Cron 4, perhaps. Yeah, I found it on Cron 4. This is a winter storm baby born in a Krispy Kreme.
Well, Kinsley, one Dothan family added a member during this week's winter storming. We're not talking about you, thankfully, not just yet.
Not yet. You have got to check this out. But also, what makes this birth story so special is the way it happened. To tell us about it, News 4's Jacqueline Lambert joins us live at the Krispy Kreme. And so, Jacqueline, the new arrival happened there.
Yes, Kinsley, Dallas Mitchell came in a hurry, refusing to wait until his parents got to the hospital. Instead, this parking lot became a delivery room.
Dallas Mitchell had quite the entrance.
I feel like Superwoman.
On Wednesday, the day after Dothan's historic snowfall, Shania began having contractions. So she and Keon, Dallas's father, braved the iced-over roads.
It definitely slowed us down. And he was driving, so I was scared. I was thinking he was going to start panicking and start driving faster, but he did very good.
With 911 on the phone, the family traveled towards Flowers Hospital, but they didn't make it.
I really don't even know how I stayed because I was really scared. I was scared too. But now I feel like I could. Now I feel like I really could be a doctor now.
They got to an intersection a mile from Flowers Hospital where Dallas Mitchell refused to wait any longer.
I felt the baby head at the red light. And so once we got into the Krispy Kreme parking lot, I couldn't stop pushing. And I just saw him sliding out. And I'm like, come grab him, come grab him.
By the time paramedics arrived, 5 pounds, 14 ounces Dallas had been born.
It's an experience to remember. It definitely is.
Yeah. So their baby was born in the Krispy Kreme parking lot. And I think they got a lot of free donuts because of that. Thanks to News 4 for that riveting report. We talk about Super Earth for just a moment. This story is pretty fascinating. It is about a planet found 20 light years away that could be able to host life. It was found by Dr. Michael Cretinier, we'll call him Cretinier, of the University of Oxford. This planet has a mass 6 times greater than Earth. It orbits in a habitable zone, they think, of a star similar to the Sun. This is outside of our solar system, but the thinking is, according to folks at the University of Oxford, it could have conditions that are actually suitable for life. And it's bigger, too. They named this planet, well, they're calling it Super Earth, but they named it, the official name, HD 2794D. It's not very sexy, but they say it could be the right distance from its star to sustain water on its surface. So Dr. Cretinier, who's a postdoc research assistant at the University of Oxford Physics Department, said, excitingly, its proximity with us means there's hope for future space missions to obtain an image of it. Because it orbits in an elliptical way rather than circular like the Earth, it's unclear whether it would be able to host life. It was first identified in 2022 after Dr. Cretinier found a possible signal while analyzing archive data recorded by the High Accuracy Radial Velocity Planet Searcher spectrograph in Chile. An international team of researchers then went back and they looked at 2 decades of observations to confirm Super Earth. He said, for me, it was naturally a huge joy when we could confirm the existence of this planet. And it was also, he said, a relief since the original signal was at the edge of the spectrograph's detection limit. So it was hard to completely be convinced at the time if that signal was real or not. He thinks this planet, Super Earth, could play a pivotal role in future missions, hoping to search for biosignatures indicating potential life on planets very, very far away from our own. He said, I'm now very enthusiastic to hear what other scientists can tell us about this newly discovered planet, particularly since it's among the closest Earth analogs we know about given its particular orbit. You can find more about Super Earth in the journal Astronomy and Astrophysics. Someday, we may colonize that planet and start pulling its oil out of the ground or whatever. 20 light years away. You know what? There it is with its sun, of course, a rendering. But yeah, Super Earth. Now we might have a backup plan. From Super Earth to Supersonic. This is a story about this boom supersonic, which has finally broken the sound barrier for the first time. It's a prototype craft, and it shows that perhaps a return to supersonic commercial flights could be back in action. This boom supersonic passed a major milestone on its path to reintroduce supersonic commercial flights. They have been testing for years and then refining everything and then testing again. And for the first time, a pilot flying the aerospace company's XB-1 scale prototype finally broke the sound barrier. It happened during a live stream event. Not once, but 3 times it broke the sound barrier. Took off from the runway at Mojave Air and Spaceport near Barstow, California. And then Boom Supersonic's chief test pilot ascended in the experimental plane to an altitude of 34,000 feet before turning left and beginning the supersonic test, successfully achieving Mach 1.1. Then it decelerated, and then it briefly broke the sound barrier once again. They said, all right, knock it off. Now we know you can do it. Stop it. The success comes less than a year after the aircraft's debut flight. They had another 10 flights prior to the Mach 1 breakthrough. So they've really been working at this for a while. The success officially makes Boom Supersonic's XB-1 the first civil aircraft to ever go supersonic over the continental United States. It is about 63 feet long, about a third of the size of Boom Supersonic's proposed commercial jet, which they call Overture, which is intended to seat between 65 to 80 passengers and complete international trips as fast as Mach 1.7, about twice the speed of today's subsonic jets, but a little slower than the Concorde was. So, the pilot said historically the human race has always wanted to go faster, and they showed they can do it. So, the Boom Supersonic has success. You see this story about this medieval potty? This actually came because this discovery came all from a tapestry. It's called the Bayeux Tapestry. It's 1,000 years old. And they believe, as this team of archaeologists in the UK, that they found the long-lost residence of Harold Godwinson, who was the last Anglo Saxon king of England. The home is shown in this 1,000-year-old tapestry, and archaeologists say they think they've uncovered, through a combination of new surveys and reinterpretation of evidence from earlier digs, this house or home. The findings, published recently in the Antiquaries Journal, the archaeologists say the Norman conquest saw a new ruling class supplant an English aristocracy that has left little in the way of physical remains. And that's what makes this discovery at Bosham hugely significant. They have found an Anglo Saxon show home, is what they think. So it belonged to Harold Godwinson, Harold II, who only ruled for about 9 months in 1066 before he was killed in the Battle of Hastings. But his residence, Bosham, on the coast of West Sussex, is depicted twice in the Bayeux Tapestry, which is a famed piece of medieval embroidery depicting the Norman conquest of England in 1066. That's when William, Duke of Normandy, challenged Harold II for the throne and was successful. So then we had William, Duke of Normandy. The tapestry, the Bayeux Tapestry, shows William's victory in the Battle of Hastings, but earlier artwork from the time also shows that Bosham was where Harold enjoyed a feast in a very extravagant hall before setting sail for France. It was previously suggested that Harold's residence once stood at the current location of a private home in West Sussex. So the archaeologists did a geophysical survey of the surrounding area. They looked at standing remains, they looked at maps and records, and then they took a closer look at evidence uncovered from previous excavations in 2006. And they found 2 previously unidentified medieval buildings. One is integrated into the current house, and the other structure is in the garden. And both are significant finds, apparently. Part of the garden ruin at Bosham has been confirmed as a medieval building now. And here is what it looks like in the garden. And I don't know if you would see this and go, oh, I mean, it looks like something, but something so significant? I don't know. Looks like maybe an old doorway to something, right? Yeah, a little more important than that. This crucial indication that the site had even earlier origins came from a latrine within a large timber building. The latrine or bathroom was first uncovered during 2006 excavations, but archaeologists in England noticed a pattern that around the 10th century CE, high status houses began to integrate toilets. This latrine indicated to the team that the timber building must have belonged to someone of an elite status and likely represents part of Harold's residence illustrated on the Bio Tapestry. The hall was only the one part of a larger complex that includes a still standing church. They say the realization that the 2006 excavations had found, in effect, an Anglo Saxon ensuite confirmed to us that this house sits on the site of an elite residence predating the Norman conquest. Looking at this vital clue alongside all other evidence, it is beyond all reasonable doubt that we have here the location of Harold Godwinson's private power center, the one famously depicted on the Bio Tapestry. So, there it is, the evidence and the art. Speaking of old stuff, check this out. We had recently a story about the auction of a really old helmet. Well, what about this? This is a golden helmet. Pretty interesting looking golden helmet, if I do say so myself. It's been stolen, unfortunately. Art thieves blew up a Dutch museum's door trying to steal this ancient golden helmet from Romania. They did it in the middle of the night, and the burglars took 4 valuable objects connected to Romania's cultural heritage. This is the golden helmet of Coto Fenesti at the Drents Museum. 3 hooded thieves were outside the museum in Assen, which is a city in the northeastern Netherlands. They were caught on security camera carrying a duffel bag, a crowbar, and flashlights, and suddenly a white flash obscured the image, sparks and smoke. Police say with the aid of explosives, the thieves blasted their way in, and from the world's oldest boat housed at the museum to an early Vincent van Gogh painting housed here as well, they took some stuff. They were after the objects from this exhibition called Dacia, the Empire of Gold and Silver. It's a collection of archaeological treasures from museums across Romania. It was supposed to close January 26th, the day after the robbery. But on January 25th, boom, they snuck right in. Well, they blasted right in and snuck off with the goods. The general director of the museum calls it a dark day. They say we are intensely shocked by the events at the museum. In its 170-year existence, there has never been such a major incident. It also gives us enormous sadness toward our colleagues in Romania. So 4 objects, golden objects, are missing from the museum. 3 royal bracelets and this helmet of the Coto Fenesti, which was on loan from the National History Museum of Romania in Bucharest. One would hope that they don't melt it down and sell it for gold, that they can appreciate the historical value and context of what they took, but who knows? The 4 stolen artifacts help tell the people of the story of the Dacian people who lived in this region that encompassed parts of modern-day Romania and several nearby countries. The kingdoms lasted until the Roman Empire conquered this region around 106 CE. An art historian says this is really more than just a theft. It's a wound to the Romanian community. This Canto Fenesti helmet was crafted out of solid gold around 450 BCE, and it's particularly meaningful to Romanian national identity. Every child in Romania learns about this helmet in school. It's the symbol of the Dacians and of their treasures as well. So to have this helmet stolen, yeah. For what? I mean, I, I don't know. You would think if something was that much of a national treasure that you would want it displayed, but there are some people that just, I guess, don't care, want the money. Here's one of the bracelets taken as well. They just walked away with it. Ugh. There was a replica of that golden helmet featured in this Romanian film in the 60s called The Dacians as well. The helmet was originally unearthed by children in the 1920s after a heavy rain washed away part of a hillside. After playing with it for a while, the kids took it home where the family used it as a water bowl for farm animals. A merchant purchased the helmet from the family in 1929 and later donated it to the National Museum of Antiquities. It arrived at the Natural History Museum of Romania in the 70s. It is made, go back to the picture of the helmet, from 3 plates that are welded together, features a rich mythological imagery on its front, 2 golden eyes said to possess apotropaic qualities of the ability to ward off evil. That's according to art history experts. The helmet's decoration, they say, summarizes the blend of civilizational and artistic elements from the Eurasian and Greek cultures, including griffins, sphinxes, and a male figure sacrificing a ram. The bracelets, on the other hand, those date to around 50 BCE. They were uncovered in the ancient Dacian capital. They feature spiraling gold loops. And here's the worry. The art history folks say we have to find these items before they're melted down. We have to. So the Dutch police have contacted Interpol, and they're looking. They're looking. There was a similar art theft using explosives in another Dutch town. Those thieves were less successful. They ran from the gallery with Andy Warhol works, but they realized that those paintings would not fit in their getaway car, so they had to dump 2 of them on the road, and they ripped the other 2 out of their frames, which damaged the paintings as well. It's kind of an amateur thing. But this one at the Drents Museum, they think this was no amateur job. They did link it to a nearby car fire, suggesting that the suspects may have set one car on fire and driven away in another. So they're still looking. Right now, the Drents Museum is closed until further notice because the helmet and the bracelets are gone. Gone, gone, gone. Something else interesting that was found. Winnie the Pooh drawings. Yeah. This man found a stack of these drawings and manuscripts in his dad's attic. The papers are connected to author A. Milne. They include original drafts, illustrations, letters, poems, and corrected proofs, and they've been sold at auction. This man named Simon was cleaning out his late father's attic when he came across this plastic bag full of papers. "What's this?" he said, and he looked inside and he found all of these letters, drawings, and manuscript that once belonged to the creator of Winnie the Pooh, A. Milne. They captured the imagination of the publishing world. The rare documents have found new homes in the United States and the United Kingdom. They sold for more than $118,000 at an auction earlier this month. The papers belonged to a man named Leslie Smith, who had worked in publishing and died in November of 2023. And that's what led his son to end up sorting through all the possessions and find this trove. There were original Winnie the Pooh manuscripts and drawings, original sketches for the Christopher Robin birthday book. They also had the first drafts of Milne's poem Wind on the Hill and corrected proofs of Now We Are Six and The House at Pooh Corner. There was previously unseen correspondence between Milne and his illustrator, E.H. Shepard, and the publisher as well. So In one of the notes, Milne defended Pooh by writing, "By the way, Pooh protests strongly against being called a fabulous monster in today's Observer." So interesting things in the letters and the drawings. And again, they sold at auction for $118,000. Just wow. The son, Simon, said he was gobsmacked by the discovery, but he said he just didn't think it made sense for their family to keep all those papers. So that's why they sold it. Pretty cool find. Are you guys ready? Here's where we're going today. How beautiful is this place? Wow. It is Travel Tuesday, and we are going to the Lofoten Islands in Norway. Beautiful. So scenic that people get inspired to visit by just seeing some pictures of these jaw-dropping landscapes. So just know this as we go here. You may be inspired to go for it. All right. And that's kind of the point. Although another point is for us to just look and see and experience these places that we'll probably never go to realistically, right? Okay, so that's one of the pictures, but I have a bunch more. So take a look at this. The Lofoten Islands in Norway. Pretty beautiful. I can make this bigger. Oh, not so big that you can't see it all. Look at that. How beautiful. You can kind of see the populated areas on this small island toward the right. The Lofoten Islands in northern Norway. There's a lot to do here. A lot to see, a lot to do, a lot to experience. One of the things you can do is check out Rain. Rain is apparently one of the most picturesque towns in Lofoten. It's called Rain, Reine. And it's a village that is one of the must-sees in the Lofoten Islands. Pretty much every travel guide indicates Rain is a place to see. The must-see place here is the Rain View. It's a scenic lookout point, which is located by a main road just before you enter the village. And if you have time to spare, then you can visit the tiny village center of Rain, where there's a small supermarket, a few restaurants, and some cabins which serve as vacation accommodations. They say it's a nice place to stop for lunch or for a drink. Pretty fun. Here is that view. Look at that. Incredible view. Looks like something, the mountains there just look like something out of a movie. Beautiful. Look at that. Yeah, I know. It's really pretty. So here's some more, couple more pictures of Rain. Oops. There it is. Look at that. Cute little town. Imagine having that view every single day. Lots of little red buildings on the harbor. Old church. Look at that backdrop. Incredible. The next place to see is called Rainbringen. They say it's one of the most scenic viewpoints in Lofoten, a place where they say a single picture is enough to inspire you to travel here from the other side of the world. Rainbringen is actually a mountain. Getting to the viewpoint involves a very steep and a very demanding climb. We're not making that climb today, but if we were to do so, here is what we would see. That's pretty incredible. Look at that. Wow. And here we are together. They say that this view is actually the reward of one of the most popular hikes in Lofoten, and that thousands of people do it every year without any issues. But they say you do need to be in good physical condition, and you need to look at the weather before you travel and get up there. The hike is not recommended in the winter because the stairs in this area can be icy and covered with snow. And it's not worth doing if it's raining or if everything is covered up with clouds, because you won't even get the rewarding view at the end. They say you'll do a few thousand stairs and then stand in the mist and not see anything at all. So you want to make sure that it's not cloudy. And they also say, don't underestimate the hike back down, that it's easier on your heart, but you'll feel it in your knees. So take a lot of breaks as you go up and down. That's fine. We'll take a little break together. That's no problem. Look at those views, though. Just wow. I feel like these pictures are so clear and good. I know it's not quite like being there, but perhaps close. Yeah, look at that. It's a pretty steep hike. Look at those stairs. Yikes. You can kind of see the stairs at the white going down the center of the screen. Yeah. Mm-hmm. The next place we're going is called Hamn. And Hamn is a small inlet south of Rain. It's at the entrance of the Rain Fjord, where you'll find one of the most photographed views in Lofoten, the traditional red cabins with the mountain peaks of the Rain Fjorden in the background. They say that the nicest views can be seen from the bridge on the main road. It's a busy road, but there is a pedestrian sidewalk. There's no designated parking. So this might be a little sketchy to get this picture, but lucky for us, we already have the shot here. So pretty cute. There's another picture taken in this area. So there's the red cabins against the backdrop. And look at that. So pretty. I can see why they say it makes you want to go here, because I'm thinking so. The next place we're going is called the Nusfjord or Nusfjord. It's one of the most charming towns in this area. It's a traditional fisherman's village that functions as an open-air museum. You have to pay a little entrance fee to visit the town of Nusfjord. Many of the buildings date to the end of the 19th century. They say it looks like time stood still when you walk into this village. There's a museum there that's open. There's some Rohrbuer cabins where you can learn about the fishing industry. They say it's a great place to get to know what life was like for the fishermen of the past. Some traditional cabins in Nusfjord also serve as hotels. You can stay here. In the village, you'll find a traditional bakery, a cafe, a restaurant, kayak tours, and boat trips as well. They say when you visit Nusfjord, you might look totally deserted or touristy. When it's not too busy, you can appreciate the authentic charm of this picturesque little village. So pretty cool. Here's some old fishing equipment from one of the museums in the area. You can see an old boat there as well. Kind of cool. And another picture of the fishing heritage. It's a quaint little place. They say the road to Nusfjord is scenic. Check this out. This is what it looks like when you're driving here. That's a view, right? Incredible. And then here's a picture of some of the baked goods that they have for sale in this area. The Lofoten Islands have a lot of beaches, but one of them is on the list to visit. It is Utavik Beach. They say if you only have time to visit one, this is the one. The scenery stunning with a long, flat, sandy beach surrounded by mountain peaks. It truly is like something out of a dream. Check this place out. It doesn't even look real. The landscape here, they say, is really unique. White sand, giant boulders, long stretches of green grass, sheep grazing in the summer. They say it's really hard to believe you could find such white sand in the cold Arctic climate. It looks like beaches of the Caribbean minus the palm trees and the weather. But they say there's something so special about Utakliv that you really have to experience it. They say it's one of the most spectacular places to visit in Lofoten. So, so pretty. And here is a picture of the sheep grazing in the background. Wow, look at that picture. That's amazing. Here's the sheep. How picturesque is that? Beautiful. Who knew we would love the Lofoten Islands so much? Here's another picture of the beach. Pretty. So pretty, pretty, pretty. You can see the rocks and the boulders and the sand and the mountains in the background. There's another town to visit in Lofoten. It's called, it's A space I. Ai? It's pronounced Awe, Awe, or Aw. It's a picturesque town at the southernmost end of the main road in Lofoten. Because of its location, they call it the end of the world. They have the traditional red cabins here as well. Here's what it looks like. You can see Ai is the name of it, pronounced Aw, I guess. Yeah, but look how pretty it is. Very cute. They say the fact that there are still quite a lot of locals living there makes this feel more authentic than many of the other villages that people tend to visit in Lofoten. There are a couple of museums here dedicated again to the fishing industry. There's historic buildings to check. You'll need to get a ticket to go see those historic buildings, but there's no fee if you just, they say, want to walk around the town. Here's another picture of Aw. Aw's pretty cute. Yeah, the end of the world. And they say another one of the favorite places here is the beautiful coastal area at the far end of this village. And here's what that looks like. These rock formations are incredible. The weather is sketchy, so you have to really watch it, but there are a lot of hikes in this area as well. Then there's another beach, two beaches. It's the Kavala Beach and the Ryton hike to get out to the beach. Here's what it looks like. Okay, no, on the sitting on the rock above, perched above that. I mean, any of those rocks could fall at any moment. Or I could be clumsy and topple over at any moment. So no. But this is on the Ryton hike, which takes you to the top of Ryton Mountain, where there are stunning views, clearly, of Kavala Beach and the coastline below. They say that you can go and take this Instagram famous picture where it's called hanging on the tong with the beach visible below your feet. No thanks. But it is so beautiful. Here's some more pictures of it. Check this out. Wow. That is quite the view. I prefer to be actually down there standing on the beach, letting the chilly waters tickle the tops of my toes. But okay. Pretty beautiful. Yes, for Norway, right? Then what about visiting this? Yes, it is the Lofoter Viking Museum. It's pretty cool. This is a museum, they say, that stands out above all the rest. So if you only have time to pick one museum to visit in Lofoten, this is the one. It's built like a Viking village. It's the Lofoter Viking Museum, where you can learn about Vikings, how they used to live, visit a longhouse, interact with actors in Viking era costumes, try some Viking food, and learn all kinds of traditional crafts. If you feel like it, you can try on a Viking costume and take some pictures to remember this experience. They say the Viking Museum is open in the summer daily, and all of the activities are included with your ticket. There's a website you can go visit to check it out. Here's some more pictures about what it looks like on the inside of the Viking Museum. You could see people dressed up there doing the Viking crafts. Look cool. I love the historical reenactment. Another thing to do is take a cruise, and this is called the Trollfjord Cruise, one of the most beautiful fjords in the area. Steep cliffs rising high above this narrow fjord. They say it's very picturesque. The waters are crystal clear. The reflections and the photographs stunning. No roads, so you've got to take a boat tour to see the Trollfjord. They say the tours offer spectacular views of the surrounding mountains and cliffs, opportunities to spot wildlife, and learn about the history and the legends of the fjord. This fjord has a lot of legends around it, a lot of folklore. Every guidebook had a different story to tell, so no word on what the real story is there, but sure is a pretty area. Look at that. Yeah. Wildlife in this area as well. Incredible. And then, and I know we have to wrap it up, but check this out. This is also quite the view. It like wraps it all up. This is called Dellen Porton. It's another hike. It's a mountain peak close to Solver. Before you reach the top, you can see Devil's Gate. It's a picturesque rock perched between two mountains. Some people climb on it for pictures. They say it looked too dangerous when they went, so you can be careful. They say no picture is worth that kind of risk, but it is a popular hike. A lot of people underestimate it, but they say it's worth seeing. So here's some more pictures of that. Places we'll probably never see, but that's all right. We'll take it. Incredible. And then there's the village of Svolvær. It's the biggest town on the Lofoten Islands, and they say it's worth a quick stop if you happen to be passing by. So here's what that looks like. All very similar looking towns, very cute. The town, they say, is more modern than the other ones. So it's not as interesting maybe from a sightseeing point of view, but there are all kinds of tours that start here. Kayaking tours, scenic cruise tours, hiking tours, all kinds of things like this. So they also have one of those ice bars there that you can go dress in a warm coat and see the ice. So that's kind of fun. They call it magic ice. Yeah. And here's one of the pictures of the scenic cruises. You can cruise around the island, which I think that's worth seeing. I'll take the cruise. I'm sold on that. Look at that. Beautiful. That's a kayaking. It looks like a kayaking tour. Everything from the water. Here's another beach to see, Boone's Beach. One of the other things that you can do in this area, I'll just give you the list. From TripAdvisor, different website, but they have the silent Trollfjord Cruise, which we just talked about, Trollfjord Cruise. A winter half-day kayak tour is $91. A Northern Lights photo tour is $133. It's a dynamic excursion, they say, perfect for those who want to chase the Northern Lights. Yes, please. There's a Sea Eagle Safari Trollfjord Cruise, a Sea Eagle Safari, another cruise that you can take, a private tour, all kinds of things. Lofoten, Lofoten. Check out the pictures online. They have a midnight sun kayak tour, the ultimate Aurora Hunt Northern Lights van tour with hot drinks. So pretty fun. A half-day snowshoe tour, a shore excursion, a sea kayak guided tour to Skrova Island, and a South Lofoten Highlights photo tour. Northern Lofoten Heights photo tour with the Northern Lights included as well. So, yeah, the Lofoten Islands. I'm thinking that if I had the opportunity to go, I think I would go. Absolutely. And that, my friends, is Travel Tuesday. thank you for going on that little vacation with me. I do appreciate it. And tomorrow on YouTube, we have the Mark Thompson Show. John Rothman will be on along with Belinda Weymouth. And then we'll do Waterfall Wednesday, another place to decompress and to relax. Blue Spark says, "Ooh, it's an all-you-can-eat lutefisk buffet." Is it lutefisk or lutefisk? Lutefisk. Yeah. Waiting for the pharmacy now. Anybody else feel like plundering and pillaging? Well, if you went to the Viking Museum, Ricky, you could plunder and pillage. Absolutely. Yeah, the floating islands. So pretty. So pretty. Watching the Vikings over again. Pretty brutal show. Those shows can be bloody, but interesting as well. All right. So that is Travel Tuesday. Thank you so much for everyone who comments and participates and shows up here day after day, or maybe who has just found the show. Thank you, thank you, thank you for participating, for being here, for those who contribute and help keep this show rolling. Thank you so much as well. So appreciate it. Please find the crowd-funded links for PayPal in the About tab and in the show description. They're there every day. I'll see you tomorrow on YouTube. Thanks for being here, everybody. But for now, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Really, bye-bye. I'll find the video. Bye-bye.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.
I have not. I think I've seen it from the sky, though.